Hello, everyone. My name is JD Calderon, and this is Indie Comics Explained. Yet again, I brought on another fantastic group of independent comic book creators. So please hit like, hit subscribe, share the video, let everybody know we're here. And without further ado, we're going to bring on this guy, that guy.
This guy right here. What's up, everybody? My name is Dee Rosario from Unstoppable Comics. I've been making books since 2008 with titles such as Curse of the Dragonstorm, Shield of the Interceptor, The Dead Princess Vicky Styx, New York versus the World, The Storm Chasers, and some other stuff thrown in there. Hanging out with this guy a couple years after that, and then hanging out with the other guy that's going to come up a couple years after that.
Right, and just to let everyone know, we're going to let everybody know in advance, this is, or at least next weekend is the start of football season, right? So I have to see how powerful my voodoo works to kill off as many games on Sunday nights as I can make happen. Just for this gentleman right here.
My last show of the year. The football begins next week. Although theoretically, depending on the game, I could appear and be watching the game in the background. That is a possibility. I will give you that potential option.
All right.
So let me ask: even if the Chargers are tanking, like if they're like 0-9,
sir,
you'd still watch,
sir. I'm a football fan. I watch football for the football.
Okay, I got you.
I know you New Yorkers don't understand that.
No.
Because as soon as the season starts, you check out, and it doesn't matter anymore.
The Jets are done. They're going to be one of the European teams on the expansion front.
This is true. That's what's happening. The only way to get them a real fan base is to send them to Europe. Yeah, it's true. It's true.
All right, so let's start bringing on the guests before we get into this. All right, what's up, Vaughn?
How's it going?
Please introduce yourself.
Yeah, I'm Vaughn Coleman. I'm the writer and creator of a series called Phenomenova. Got 4 issues out, and then the 5th one is on Kickstarter right now, as well as a brand new book in my universe. So that's what I've got going on.
Nice. All right, cool. Charlie.
Hey, what's up? I'm Charlie McFarland. I'm also a comic book writer, creator of a series on Kickstarter. We actually just hit funding today called Pistol Shrimp. So it's a good time. Also, newly indoctrinated Colts football fans. So.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Yeah, married into that family.
Yeah. You got to let us know how your Canadian cousin Todd is doing. Mark,
hey guys,
please
doing great. 20-year veteran of the comic book industry. I've written for DC Comics, Image Comics on books like Savage Hawkman, Evangeline. Back in 2017, I started my own publishing company with my son called Haunted Pizza. Since then, we've crowdfunded and fulfilled 32 different campaigns across Indiegogo, Kickstarter, Fund My Comic, books like Graveyard Shift, U.S. Assassin, Writhe and Pain, Viking Wolf, and our latest book is Universal's Initiative on Kickstarter right now.
All right, cool. Good to have you, Mark.
Thanks for having me.
All right, Michael, please.
Hey, everybody. How's it going? Thanks for having me, JD. My name is Michael Connors. I'm the independent comic creator, artist, and publisher behind M. Connors Studio. And right now I have one title that I'm working on, which is called Conrad Van Cottonmouth. And soon I'll be introducing another one, which is called Gert the Valkyrie, about a Valkyrie that comes to Earth and goes to high school. But that one I'm working on currently now. And the Conrad Van Cottonmouth is going to be launching a Kickstarter fairly soon for the 4th book.
All right, cool. All right, gentlemen. So let's start with this show question. So. Listen, all of us do crowdfunding out the yaya. So, all of us are trying to make money however we can make it, right? There's some people who go into it and they're like tons of merch. There's some of us do it with barely any merch. And there's some of us that are looking to do more merch, right? So, it stands to reason, what merch are you using or planning to use to bring you up, to take your campaigns up to the next level, right? So what merch you're either utilizing that you feel works over and over again, or what are you planning on using to maybe get you to that next level? Because it's a rough world out there in indie comics. So Michael, I hate to say it, man. Last man in, first man up, but you're it.
Oh, fantastic! It's no problem. Yeah, so I'm still like, I have 3 issues. I'm fairly new, so I'm still building audience and I'm like testing things out. I'm happy to say that I've tried a different kind of merch things that I thought were pretty clever. How they performed, I don't know, but so for the Conrad Van Cottonmouth, it's about a rabbit that gets captured and they make him super smart, but he's still just kind of this presence and he's just a rabbit, but he befriends this woman and he gives her like $1 billion and they just travel the world. So one of the merch items I had was a set of postcards from wherever they were. It would be a postcard of them in Amsterdam. So it was just this woman with this crazy rabbit, or they were in Thailand. So I printed out a series of these postcards and included them with my campaign, as an extra. But then when I went to cons, I was also providing them with the sales. They were like, you bought a couple of books, you got a postcard with it. I thought that was fairly clever part of the the offers, that it fits pretty well in that package. The other things I've done is just the digital reward for like the printable poster, was one idea I've added for a stretch goal. But otherwise, that's as far as I've gotten other than the printed books. So it's kind of hard, right? Because it has to be able to fit into that Gemini mailer. So I would love to be able to do posters and stuff, or T-shirts, but it's kind of a challenge.
Well, in T-shirts, you can do, but you just have to change your packaging.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I think those postcards are an awesome idea, though. Like in-universe kind of.
Yeah,
that's really cool.
Thanks. Yeah, I thought it was. I was pretty happy with the idea. I mean, and I only did like 3, and they're actually fairly cheap to make, right? Because you could just go to like Vistaprint and it's like $20 or something for 200 of them or something. It's not that bad. Oh, and stickers. Stickers is always, I forgot. I provide stickers too. Stickers is a huge, people love stickers. When I go to cons, sticker guy is like selling like crazy. So I also always provide some stickers.
And I know some guys that their stickers do better than their books, so it's very strange. It's just very weird whenever I hear that. All right, cool. Vaughn, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, my thoughts on like his idea, or my thoughts on my own
question.
On the question. Okay, I just want to make sure. Yeah, I mean, when it comes to merch ideas, I'm always trying something new. Some things work, some things don't. But I think things generally, if they could fit in a Gemini mailer, that's more. Oh my God, does that save a headache? So my latest thing has been stickers, which I've actually felt has been pretty cool. There was some art I had that wasn't quite good for a mini print, but it was good for a sticker. So I've done that, and mini prints I think tend to work really well. But stickers, I would say, sorry, my headphones just unplugged. Are my latest. That's my latest thing on my new campaign. It's normally I do mini prints, and this time I'm doing stickers, and so far people seem to be enjoying them. Like I'll have one with this character, one with this character, and I'll be like, it's 6. Like I have 4 right now. By Canon White, and it's basically one of this character, one of this character, one of this character, one of 2 characters, and then but you can get them all for a discount, and so I think that's worked.
All right, cool. Charlie, what are your thoughts?
So I'm same with everybody else. I always think stickers are a good idea. I try. I've done this. This is for Pistol Shrimp. This is issue 4, so this is our 4th campaign we've done. So I did stickers in the first campaign, and then I kind of try to switch it up every other issue. So we did bring them back this campaign. Some other stuff we did last campaign. We did little keychains. So got little Pistol Shrimp keychains, which anybody who hasn't done them before, you can get them for pretty cheap, and I think they're easy reward to just put into the Gemini mailers. They fit perfectly. We've done trading cards before, which I honestly wasn't sure how that would go because, I mean, realistically, I don't know what people were doing with them, but I ended up using them as bookmarks when I'm reading books. I think that was a fun one. And then variant covers. I think variant covers are always a good idea. That's something I think is one of the most
Right.
successful in my experience.
Right.
But I try not to overdo it. Like I don't want to be one of the people that has, like 19 different variant covers, and then you might end up spending more than you make if you're doing too many of them. So, but I think 2 to 3 is always fun if your artist is willing to put in the work for it.
True. You
I
know,
don't want to
I
overwork
tend
them.
to. Well, yeah, I try to get different artists. So
I agree. Yeah.
All right, cool. Mark, what are your thoughts?
Oh man, I've done a lot of the same things the other guys have done. I've done like the 6x9 prints, trading cards. If you see over my shoulder, over various campaigns, we've built out like trading card sets. Through each campaign, you get different cards. Some of my more established properties, I've done hats, T-shirts. I think the most clever reward I ever did was for my book Writhe in Pain. It's a book about witchcraft. So we offered a Ouija board. I had a game board company make it, and it was foldable in 4, so it fit in a Gemini mailer. So I was really proud of that.
That's cool.
It was a little controversial though, because some people were they weren't on board with the Ouija board. But it's just for decoration. I have it hanging on my wall. It's not for use.
Gotcha. This is it's Mark sent bad spirits all over the world.
Yeah.
As long as you don't send a pointer, they can't do anything with
That's
it.
what I said. Yeah.
Fine. Yeah.
You're not responsible for the spirits that they summon.
Yeah.
That's right. That's on them. You just let them know that was in your heart, sir. That's what
I did put a disclaimer on the campaign. Not for it's for decoration, not for use.
Right, not for summonings.
Yeah.
Nice. I actually like that one.
That's really good.
Yeah. Tom, what are your thoughts?
I mean, we've done basically everything there is to do except for a bookmark at this point. And we will never do a bookmark. We will never do a bookmark. But I mean, literally, we've done all sorts of different trading cards, stickers. We've turned our stickers into magnets now. People seem to like the magnets more than the stickers. All the simple stuff has been tried, poker chips and etc. And then we started doing things like our acrylic standees that had been popular. And of course, we have our super merch. We did critter figures, real honest to God critter figures. So
that's awesome.
All of it has its place. And like has been discussed, like sometimes the stickers will outsell your product itself. And that's just because there's people that, like at a con is the time for it, is people are just like, oh, I just like whatever that is, and I want to put it on my laptop or on my refrigerator, and they'll just buy all the weird crap. They don't care what your story is. They just like whatever the art is. So it kind of depends on what you're doing, what you need for Kickstarter is not necessarily what you need for a con, is not necessarily what you need to show on eBay or your web store, etc. So doing t-shirts, like we've done shirts in the past, they're a pain in the ass because you've got to buy all kinds of different sizes, and you're just kind of guessing at what's going to be sold. Things have changed a little bit now with more print on demand style of shirts, so you can modify that a little bit. But for us, we've just kind of simplified. People seem to like the cards that we do. We've done metal cards and holofoil types of things. They like the idea, like Mark was talking about, it made like a set, right? So as you're going over time, it's like it kind of all matches up. So like this is card 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 12, whatever, and you can build the set. That's something to help people like, oh, I need to get that next card, so let me come back into this campaign. Anything to sort of get them to come back in. It's like when we do our campaigns now for the last couple of years, we do a day one sort of Wizard tribute card, Wizard magazine, with our characters on it, and it's just a little trading card, and anybody who pledges on day one just gets one. It's not a stretch goal, you just automatically get it. But if you want one, you got to be there on day one. So stuff like that. But I think for us now, the easy stuff is easy, and I'm kind of at a point where it's like I need the next figure now. I want to start that collection, and get people involved in that. The acrylic standees, though, because these are obviously infinitely cheaper, this stuff has been really great for the folks that don't want to spend like $60 on a figure. So these guys, I think, are something that, you know, anybody can do, and they because it's the stand, they go flat, so you just put them in whatever envelope that you're doing. So even though it's a figure, it's very easy to ship. So and I've seen a lot of people do these now, all kinds of different sizes. I've seen some gigantic ones of these things that are just like this freaking big. I'm like, God damn, all right, that's a little more than I want to do, but it is a cool thing, and it lets somebody have your merch on their bookshelf, you know, when they go home. And that's kind of half the battle, is just reminding them you exist.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Jay.
All right. Before I get into my answer, it's awesome that Michael's on this show, because even though he doesn't have a lot of merch, what he does is he identifies you, right? And he wrote on a really awesome fucking note about our meeting at New York Comic Con, and he threw whatever extra swag he could in there, right? So what he did was he gained a backer for life, just for remembering our interaction at New York Comic Con, and fucking way to be on that, Mike. Way to be, dude. You know, it's a way to ingratiate yourself to your backers, and it can't happen with everybody.
No,
But you know, that small little note, solid, brother, solid. That's why I stepped away, to make sure that I got it. When it comes to merch, you know, there's people that do 100 items on their Kickstarter campaign, and that's awesome, but it's a fucking headache, right? And at what point does it become the cart in front of the horse, right? How much can you manage? How much room do you have? And where you live to put that stuff together. What Mike does, what Tom does, what Mark does and what Tom does, I do too, right? I do the trading cards. We've got a set of 80 cards. With every Kickstarter campaign, every stretch goal, we add more cards. For my returning backers, we do those premium trading cards, the holofoil trading cards. And like Tom, we threw the wizard homage piece, right? That fake magazine cover, and that's from my returning backers. All you got to do is come back. I don't have that frequent flyer club membership, right? I don't have that 7 coffee punch card that you get that last one for free, but I got over 30 campaigns that I've had people back me on. So you keep coming back. So all you got to do is my way of saying thank you. And then if you're coming to us for the first time, all right, you can buy one. You buy it from Extra. And seeing as how we've grown so many in our card set, I'm putting them into packs now. And that's one more thing that we can have at the booth at Comic-Con, right? And it's manageable. Doesn't take up a lot of square footage on the table, and you can run a premium on. I mean, I got 7 pizza boxes worth of trading cards. I got to do something with them. So they're going into the packs, and let's see people rip them. But the magic for me is honestly these things, the pins, man. Well, these enamel pins, they rock and roll, man. They cost me about $1 and change a pop, right? We sell them for $10. They could take a beating, right? They're not big prints that once the corner is dinged on it, you can't sell it. They travel really well. They don't take up a lot of space. There's a gimmick. Calderon, you know this in retail when it comes to square footage, by how much an item should generate for you. You know what? Fuck it. Whoever's in the comments hanging out tonight, best fucking comment wins one tonight for free. I don't care. It could be anybody in the fucking panel. You say something in the comment, right? If it's banging, I'll just send it to you. No charge.
Somebody send messages to all our Australian friends. So,
You motherfucker.
Or Rod
But
is
yeah,
on.
you know,
Or
so
you can just send me the pin for that comment. Your choice. However you want to
I
do
may do that. But you know, I got about 10 different styles of pins, right? I mean, we do mailman pins, we do zombie pins, that tie into the zombie book. One thing you got to think about with merch though, right? It's no logos. People aren't going to buy a logo. You're not Supreme, you're not Kith, you're not Nike, right? They're not going to buy your product just for the logo. They don't know you. So you got to figure out, like, does the piece of merch you're trying to sell identify with the person that wants to buy it? Like, think of a Red Lantern shirt, right?
Mhm.
If you see somebody wearing a Red Lantern t-shirt, you know, they're full of rage, right? Or if they're wearing like an Orange Lantern shirt, right? Oh, they're a greedy motherfucker, right? You can see that just by what they're wearing. And that's why they bought it, right? So they can be easily identified. So if you're making up a t-shirt or something like that, is it something that, whether it's cute or something that could go to like a geek girl or goth girl, right? Is it something that the person who's going to buy it can identify themselves with? And if you get it wrong, you're going to be stuck with loads of fucking t-shirts.
Yeah.
That's the dangerous game you play, right? And the worst thing you could hear is, oh, I don't have that size in your shirt, right? But you've got medium, you've got large, you got 2X, but no, you don't have the XL that they want, and you're stuck going home with tons of fucking shirts. So the merch game is hard. The merch game is hard. You can lose your shirt playing the merch game.
I love that you thought of like merch ideas for legacy backers, though. Like that's something I think about a lot, and I think that's a really important thing to consider. And I've thought about it myself. Like, what are good ways to like get people to come back? And yeah, I think those legacy rewards, especially
That's
that
cool.
holographic card.
Yeah.
Like you showed that off, I was like, I kind of want one.
Yeah.
Dude, you know, and it grows, bro. It grows, and it's a great way to add to your bottom line with an add-on, because you're gonna I buy it in bulk, right? So you'll have it for future campaigns.
Right.
And for those of you who talk about Gemini mailers, I hate Gemini mailers, by the way. I really fucking hate those goddamn things. But it's not going to take up a lot of weight or a lot of space in the package.
What do you use instead of Gemini mailers?
Oh, I just use regular hard
Just like
mailers
cardboard
that
box.
don't have that extra insert in the middle of it.
Gotcha. Is it
Yeah,
cheaper? Maybe I should reconsider.
Uline sells one that I don't have the number on me, but it sells one that, so it can go from like 1/4 of an inch to about 1.5 inches. So it's adjustable, and I find those to be better than the other ones.
Yeah,
So
good to know. Good to know.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Calderon, I get my stuff, I get my mailers in bulk from Uline,
Yeah.
right? And I brand them, guys. Right? Put the fucking
That's cool.
branding right there on the box.
Yeah.
And it's not going to cost me a lot of money.
I actually looked into that. You could buy for $60, you can get a hand stamp, which seems to be the easiest way to do it. So like, I don't know how you're doing it, but you can get an ink pad and a custom-made stamp online, and then just stamp each one.
I do heat transfer vinyl. It cost me 15 cents to get this black and white image. This one color black image that I just iron onto the box. And hey, if I got extras left over, I put them on fucking t-shirts, dude.
Oh, nice. Are you doing the transfer yourself, or are you sending it out?
Yeah, man.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You've opened my eyes. I might have to look into this.
Yeah. So it's a lesson, right? You learn the hard way.
Mm-hmm.
You can try not to lose your shirt while you do it.
Yeah.
For sure.
So like Jay, I'm into shirts, but I'm also into trading cards. But what's funny is a lot of this stuff I give away. They're my stretch goals, right? You know, I have a hard enamel pin that I sell, T-shirts. You know, I'm just looking for more interesting things. But one of the things that I found that works as a stretch goal for me are these things, and it's funny. It's a coaster, right? Kind of thick. And when I first saw them, I was like, nobody's gonna want those, right? And then I started getting them, and I was like, yo, I want more of these. So it's like, you know, so it's just about every book I give one of these away for like the first 45 backers or whatever, and, you know, so that's a lot of fun. But yeah, but I was just wondering where everybody was at, because like Tom said, there's a lot of new technology out there with t-shirts, and I've been printing out a bunch of them just to check, you know. So I'm getting them all my size, and then I'm going to see how they work out, and then if I like them, I'm going to probably offer them up, because I found the site shirts are like $10, you know, and that's a custom t-shirt, you know, and it's like, you know, it's something you would sell on you know, I'd sell on a campus for 25, $30. So I think there's plenty of room there to be made. So as far as money,
Dude, I'm this fucking close to buying the X tool that allows you to print on shirts, on mugs, on pint glasses, on cases. And I'm like,
yeah, I know. See, I just don't want to have it. I just don't want another thing in the house. You know what I mean?
I know, dude. It ships on a pallet.
Right.
It's a fucking dining table. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Your wife's gonna, that's not a dining table. That's your coffin.
Oh my god, dude.
Your wife's gonna, that's what she's gonna plant you.
Where you're sleeping, if nothing else.
Exactly.
Yeah, no. Like I just don't want another thing. You know?
See, that's what's nice about like this, because I think everyone like likes those ideas, but like the safe stuff to get rid of is like stickers. They're not, like you said, it's not a coffin. It'll just be like right there. Right. Glass, you can't move. You can't just throw them around. You have to be like, oh, got to move them here.
Oh yeah, got to be worried about how it's going to get shipped and if they're going to break something or.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
or how I'm going to move it around.
Shot glasses did really well for me.
Oh, did they?
You know, prices just went up on making them, but shot glasses used to do really, really well for me because they were small. Not that they were super durable, you know, but they were easier to transport. They didn't take up as much space.
Like a pint glass has got to be way more annoying than shot glass.
Pint glasses are hard. Pint glasses are hard. Yeah.
Yeah, because I thought about hats, and I was like, I don't. The shipping just seemed like it would be a nightmare for even just hats.
See, I have all these shot glasses, and then I'm like, do I need this many? And I'm like, yeah, but I like them.
Yeah. You know, you mentioned hats for a second, Charlie, right?
Yeah.
How many pictures do you remember seeing Jim Lee wearing back in the 90s with the Omar Studio hat? Yeah. Right? Did it make you want to go buy one?
I can't say it did.
Right? And he was pushing that, brother. He was pushing that.
I'm a very bald man, though, so I'm always in favor of a hat.
I hear you. All right, cool. Jay, you're up.
All right, guys. How do you convert someone who is a supporter into someone who is going to evangelize your book? Right? How do you turn them into someone who just buys it into somebody who's shouting it from the rooftops?
I think what you mentioned with Michael sending that personalized note that you made a fan for life.
Mm-hmm. I've actually done that when I used to do some fine art painting too. Whenever I sold a painting, it always came with a note, which I felt is like important to kind of connect with your. But of course, I was selling one painting a month, not thousands of books. Well, not thousands of books, but hundreds of books, whatever.
Yeah, I've backed a lot of Kickstarters, and the ones I always remember are the ones where somebody like gave me a handwritten note, and I'm just like, they didn't have to do that.
So one thing I do every year to my repeat backers, it started with Christmas cards, but I saw Disney did like Christmas magnets that were shaped like an ornament. So every year I send a new ornament-shaped magnet with one of my characters on it. So people look forward to it. My backers look forward to it every year. They're wondering what character it is, and if they're naughty or nice, if they're going to get it. So that's been a big thing just to, I don't know, build loyalty.
Like that.
Yeah, but building loyalty isn't the question. The question was, how do you make those loyal fans scream to the rafters about
tell other people about your book?
Yes. Yeah. And I've answered this question before, and I'm just going to throw the blanket on the fire right now. You can't do it. There is nothing in the general sense. I mean, obviously some people get excited about certain things and they go for it. But to me, that's a very small percentage. I don't think that there's really anything that you can do to change someone's personality per se, right? Like if someone's just sort of like, hey, I got my book, I'm really happy with that on my shelf. That's who they are. And in order to change that personality, you have to change that personality somehow. And I don't know that you really can do that. Like it's just some people are not social media blasters, right? Even me, I whenever I get a Kickstarter book, I would say 9 times out of 10, I'll take a picture. I'll be like, yo, I just got Rosario's book. Here it is. Cool. That is all he's ever going to get from me. And that is all that Polito is going to get from me. That is all anybody is going to get from me. Is just like, hey, got my book. Awesome. Thanks, guys. I'm out. Yeah. So, I think there are just people that have the personality base of, I want to tell everybody about this, and those people are great, and you want to make sure that those people are very happy and encourage them to do that. But I think that's the key, is you can incentivize it, which is partially what Polito has done over the years. For example, he, way back in the day, he sent out I don't know what you'd call it. Basically, it's like one of these things, like an acrylic thing, but it was just a piece of paper that you were supposed to cut Lady Death out, right? And it was something to the effect of, take Lady Death to wherever you are and take a picture and hashtag it, and we'll choose winners for some kind of prize for, whoever does this. And so all of those people at Coffin Comics, the fans of Coffin Comics, were taking Lady Death like to Magic Mountain in Disneyland, and I'm at this con, so here's Lady Death taking a picture at this con or whatever. And so there was an incentivization to it that I think can work, but it has to be in that sort of a almost community building context of it, versus just like saying, hey, everybody, hashtag our book when you get your book. Like that's But if you're gonna like say, hey, you can win something if you engage in what we're doing, then you get a different mindset, because now people are going to do it with the hope that they can win the thing. So I think that's really, so I shouldn't say you can't. I just think that it's the only way to do it is to try to create an incentive for it to happen.
Well, Tom, can I ask you, has there ever been a book that you read that you did think was like so good you felt like you had to tell people about it?
No.
Or is that just not your personality at all? You just don't do that at all?
It's not my personality.
Yeah.
It's like on the flip side of that coin, though, is I do podcasts like this where we ask questions about like, hey, what's a cool book that you've read? And I'll be like, oh yeah, I read this and I read this and I like this, and we talk about it like in this context. But to take another step and to be like, hey, I was on Calderon's show and we talked about books, and let me tell you about this book that I talked about. Like that will never happen. But I love to do it in a context like this for sure. Yeah. Well, we'll talk about books and all kinds of stuff. But to take another step, I think you're right.
Harder. Then there are just some people who that's just how they are. They don't want to share. Yeah, and that's I mean, everybody's entitled to how they want to do it.
That's it.
I can't be mad at somebody if they got my book and they didn't go tell people. I'm just happy they got my book.
They got your book. Yeah. Ultimately, you just want me to get it, read it, like it, and come back for the next one. And if that's all I do for you, if that's all I do for you, that should be, that should be good.
I'd rather that than them come back and tell everybody they hated it, right?
That's correct. And unfortunately, that is part of
more likely.
You are far more likely to somebody read your book and tear it freaking ass out than you are to have them go, this is the greatest thing I've read this month. So that's an unfortunate side of the business.
All right, cool. Vaughn, you got any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's difficult. Again, that's some of the best stuff is when people are evangelizing you and saying that and shouting from the rooftops. And I'm trying to think of like incentives, I've done, because like I'll think of things like the fan art contest will help people promote it, but like that idea that Polito had, I had never thought of. But getting people to post about it, it's often difficult because like people will go, yeah, I like it, and they're back the next issue. I've had people that have backed me since issue 1 that I'm sure I've never even heard of. Don't even, aside from just seeing their names roll in. But like my most vocal supporters, I really appreciate it. It's a tough thing because like you said, it's just some people don't have that personality. Some people don't really use social media. Some people, I guess it's just kind of like sounds, but you can't ask everyone, hey, let me know your thoughts or whatever. It just kind of has to happen.
Mhm.
I'm open to hearing more, but I think creating that excitement. I'm always posting polls and stuff on social media, like, "Hey, who's your favorite character? What's whatever." But for people to be shouting that loudly, I don't know. I think just it sounds like corny, but I guess it's just kind of creating that fandom. Just keep finding new people to get excited and just hope that you run into one of those kind, and then one becomes two, two becomes three, three becomes four. I think it's just a matter of growing the fandom and keeping the enthusiasm there. Because fandom kind of comes from when you post it, you want other people to talk about it. The fact of the matter is, like when I post about it, I'm hoping there's someone else I could talk to about the book. And if it's something like the latest X-Men book or the latest whatever DC Marvel or like Battle Beast, I could post about that. Yeah, I can immediately get into a conversation because everyone's reading it. But then it's you post this, oh, there's really cool indie comic. It's tough. Often people don't even bother making the post because it's like, who else is talking about it? So I think trying to stimulate the online conversations around your books in general and keeping them going is probably the best way to do that.
Cool. Charlie, you got any?
I mean, I agreed with Michael's idea of the sending handwritten note kind of stuff. Something to make it personal is really the only thing I think could actually. Because in the past, the only way I've had people that seem like not only just gaining a loyal reader, but somebody that would, retweet everything I posted and always try to get the word out there was the result of I would do say like, oh, contest to win a free issue. And if, they got it for free, then suddenly it's different than if, they went out and paid for it themselves. I guess they felt like, well, he gave it to me for free. I got to help him out. It was really kind of how it felt. But I also don't really like doing that necessarily either, because I don't want to feel like I had to push somebody to promote my book, because then it's if you want to do it, that's great. I love that. But like, hey, I don't want to make anybody do something they don't want to do necessarily. So.
All right, that's fair. Mark, you stand where you already answered, but you got anything else?
Yeah, I mean, Tom mentioning the Polito thing, I wish I thought of the paper, figure, because that would have saved me a lot of money. But to build like brand awareness with my company, Haunted Pizza, I did a Haunted Pizza mini figure, Lego figure, and it was me with a Haunted Pizza shirt on, spiky hair, black T-shirt, Haunted Pizza logo, and it was available to the first 100 backers on my Viking Wolf campaign. But there was a photo contest with it to, take me, the best figure photography wins a full collection of our Haunted Pizza books. And the fan base had a lot of fun with that. I would have saved a ton of money had I did the paper figure. Those little Lego figures were pricey, but it paid off. The fan base had a lot of fun with it. Took me to all sorts of places, Legoland, all different amusement parks, posed with other action figures in their collection. So it was cool. It was a lot of fun.
I like that.
Yeah, that's really cool. Oof. Have you been to Legoland?
Yeah. I took my figure to Legoland too to recreate some of the shots people did.
Cool. That's no. Was it Legoland? No, I'm thinking Nintendo Land, which is.
I've been to. I've been to the new one in Orlando. The new one,
yeah. That's Nintendo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Annoying. Too loud. Crazy. I love the rest of the park. But that one section was too loud, too noisy, too many kids. It was like, you see it's very un-PC is where they used to in the 80s and 90s throw little people. And that's how I felt. I just wanted to start throwing little people. It's like, get out of my way, kid. But it was a really fun park, but it was just really loud. That was really my only issue. It was just loud. That's my age showing through. Michael, you got anything to add?
Just to clarify, I sent only a handful of people a written note because I knew JD's, so I sent him a note. But everyone on my campaign actually does get a sketch. Since I don't know them personally, I do send like a drawing like this. Cool. So what it is because I work very differently than most comic book artists. I work literally by panel because I take my sketchbook while my kids are in class or something, and I draw literally one panel by panel on a page. And when I'm done, I just have like an entire stack of like panel drawings like this, and I just cut them up and stick them in the books as a way to say thanks. By the way, this is part of the. Sometimes they're rough drawings or like just working out thumbnails and stuff like that. But I take a whole little piece of that process and stick it in the book. But to answer the question, it's really interesting. I don't know that I have a great answer, but listening to Tom and Vaughn, it's got me thinking about it. Is it that you need a property that has that organic growth that reaches that, inflection point of critical mass where it just automatically gets people talking about it all the time? Or can you really foster that through a serious, engagement campaign? I don't actually know. I mean, I
think you have to foster it. Like, it has to be incentivized. I don't think that there's enough necessarily with us because we don't have TV shows and movies and we don't have access to all of that. We're just, here's a book. So you hope that people dig the character. And like I said, with Polito, he just was asking his fans to take Lady Death wherever they went and take her picture.
Right.
And that was brilliant.
That's great.
But he also has an amazing IP. I mean, he has an amazing IP.
Oh, sure. He has 30, 40 years of the IP, of course. But as he was doing this back when he was rebranding himself through Coffin Comics and using Kickstarters, he was in a rebrand mode where he was like, how do we get people engaged in all of this? And that was part of that was just one of the things that he did.
Yeah. Right. I think about like Dork, like how well that did and how it was just, lightning in the bottle. It was the right time, the right idea, the right audience. It all just seemed to catch, and I guess there is a way to kind of foster that with engagement and reaching out and incentives. But, I wonder if you also just really need a good idea to start with as well. I don't know. That would be another question, I guess.
Yeah. Well, listen, that's why we're here, because we don't know.
Yeah.
We're here to discuss it.
Terrible
Right?
answer.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, to be honest with you, my answer for it is just ask, right? You gotta go out, you gotta ask your fans, right? Say, listen, can you do this, right? Because that's the only way you're gonna see who does it, who doesn't do it. I've sent out polls to my various Kickstarter groups and asking various questions, and I was one of them. Would you be willing to do X, Y, and Z? To promote the book or whatever. And some say yes, some say no, and it lands where it lands, right? But in the end, I'm like you, Mike. I don't know. I really don't. But
Jay knows. Rosario's going to tell us all now.
There you go.
I'm asking because I'm trying to find the answer, bro. I don't know either. I'm polling. That's what I'm doing. I'm polling, right? I want to see if I could get a little seasoning from person A, a little seasoning for person B, a little seasoning for person C, and make something out of it. That's what we're doing here, right? This is the test room. This is where we find out what works for some and what doesn't work for others, and can we build off of that?
Yeah, that's where the sausage is made for sure.
Yeah, man.
Maybe it's just a matter of hitting all the right notes. It needs to be a good idea. It needs to have the right engagement. It needs to be the right time. It needs to find the right audience.
To me, yeah, I mean, again, I am the evangelizing type usually. So to me, it's hard because it's like, oh, what would you do? And it's like, well, these are all the things I do. And yeah, like I'll get 300 backers. How many of them are actually like telling everyone to read it? Maybe like 5. Mm-hmm. That's just how it is, All
right, cool. But that is why your book is Phenomenova. So, do you want me to play this video?
Sure.
All right. You don't have any weird music on there that's going to get me a strike?
Oh, wait, hang on. Just to be safe, let's not. I don't think so. But just to be safe, let's not.
It's got 5 Beatles songs.
No, nothing like that. But it's weird. Like, I followed all the things that was, because usually it's fine, and then every once in a while, it'll be like a false notification will come up on my channel, and I'll be like, oh, this royalty-free music is claimed. It's like, no, because the creator himself just said credit in the description, which I did, and it's the auto system. So just to spare you that, let's just not go through with it.
All right.
But Phenomenova is like I said, it's a superhero story set 20 years after World War III. It follows a brand new generation of heroes. Those are the 48-hour covers, which that's something I really recommend. And then the only way to get it after that is back in the campaign. So we got Phenomenova issue 5, and then the first issue of a brand new series in my universe. So 2 different books in the same campaign. You don't have to read both. You can read one or the other, or you can read both if you so choose. But for the sake of deadlines, for the sake of everything, it's all on one campaign, and it saves you guys on shipping if people decide they want more.
Nice.
So
What issue number did you say this is on?
5.
5. Cool.
And the other one is issue 1.
Yeah, the other one is issue 1.
So, all right. So you got Phenomenova. What's the new title? The Crusader Corps.
No, Crusader Corps is that's giving you the backdrop. The Crusader Corps is something. The new title is the Wraith Crown.
Okay. Cool. All right.
So Phenomenova, we were seeing the first. This is me bringing you up to speed on the series and like what's going on here. You can see all the main covers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up top, right there. Yeah, and then if you scroll down, it will you get to see the opening splash and some of the pages before I'll get into the covers and everything.
Great art.
Yeah. Then there's the Wraith Crown. This is a brand new story with a fantasy twist that's in my universe. There's, again, the opening splash page. It's set in a country that lost the war. It's set in Austria. Basically, the Wraith Crown, whereas Phenomenova is more about like a team of young heroes being mentored by one of the Crusader Corps. The Wraith Crown takes a different approach, where it's a father gets possessed by this evil warlock, and the son has to then put on this cursed crown and command a ghost army. And he has all these special abilities like crafting weapons and whatever that he has to use to fight the warlock and hopefully save his father. It's like the origin story for the conflict of the story. So
I've seen this floating around on Twitter, and I'm always blown away by these covers. I think they look so cool.
Thank you. Yeah.
Nice.
That one's available in foil and metal, which I do recommend people do because price it in such a way where even if only a handful buy it, it's still at the very least profitable. And there's that one. And like I said, you'd have to back all the covers to get that.
Oh, cool. Nice. Very nice.
And then for the Wraith Crown.
The Wraith Crown, is that a limited series or is it going to be ongoing?
It's going to be ongoing. We already have the second one written.
Okay. Cool.
So it just needs money. That's an homage to the Lord of the Rings movie from the Rankin Bass one, 78.
Is it Rankin Bass or Ralph Bakshi?
Is it Ralph Bakshi? I did it, but I thought Rankin Bass was the company. No, or is it not Rankin Bass? I know Ralph Bakshi directed.
Right. Well, no, Ralph Bakshi did his own. Rankin Bass did the other ones. They did like with the little fat people.
Oh, okay. And then there's that one right there. That's an homage to Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Of course, I couldn't do a full metal cover without providing a metal version. So,
no, that's cool.
Then we've got, if anyone here is an artist, there's fan art contests and add-ons, stickers. We were talking about things to add on. I decided to try a poster. Then there's stickers. I have some leftover trading cards. And I have variant covers from past campaigns as well.
All right, cool. Very nice. So, I mean, Phenomenova, you're up to issue 5, right?
Mm-hmm.
How many more issues in the arc are left?
So it depends on how you define an arc, because in some ways this is because I kind of had the first 9 as part of a story, but there's kind of like a break between 1 through 4 that's kind of an arc within and then 5 to 9. So in a way, this is almost the start of a new arc. Every new issue is new reader friendly, or you can read everything that came before. You can do any combination. You can get physical, digital, what have you. So if you want for 6 issues, so that includes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the Wraith Crown. You can get it for $80, which includes shipping, or you could get for just digital. It's just $30 for all of it. Either way, I try to make it as easy as possible for people to jump in, but people that spend, you do get a really special deal like that. The catch up does include a decent discount, and then all the higher tiers do include like the more you spend, the more you discount you get, or you could just keep it easy on the lower level.
Gotcha. All right, cool. And you have, let's take a look here. All right, you're 7,600. You got 10,000. You got 20 days ago. I don't think you're gonna have an issue covering that gap.
Nah, but obviously the goal is like the bare minimum.
Right.
You know, it's like
Sure.
I would prefer. That's like, all right, I guess 10K because it's 2 books. You know, I guess, but it's like that, which is again why I have so many stretch goals, because it's like, the further we can push it, the better things go.
Mm-hmm. No, of course. You want to get ahead of your schedule.
Oh yeah,
very nice. All right, listen. I mean, Vaughn, you always do a great looking campaign, great looking book, man. So
thank you.
Very nice. All right, cool. Everybody, go buy a book. All right, let's see who is next. I think I need a new production assistant. Jay, you feel my pain?
All the time, buddy.
All the time.
All the time.
I know.
Trying to figure out the segue?
Yeah, no. Listen, pistol shrimp. I just didn't have one. I'm sorry. I was just like, it's a little too out there for me right now. But yeah.
So yeah, this one's mine. This Pistol Shrimp. I'm the writer on this one. We're on issue 4. Really, I think a lot of the you can look at the picture and get an idea, but it is essentially a cowboy shrimp underwater, under the sea western action comedy series about a shrimp named Pistol Shrimp who is separated from his wife. As you can see in this first page here, they are after an accident. He's in a seafood restaurant. He gets thrown into the ocean. He's separated from his wife, and he is now on a quest to find her, which leads him into some insane situations. The first issue, it's funny because you do your first issue and you're so proud of it, but after you do a couple issues, you're like, man, the first issue you can see the rougher edges. I still love the first issue, but like that is the quintessential starter. It tells you who the character is, but I feel like the story really starts kicking off in the second issue here, which is Pistol Shrimp number 2. So in Pistol Shrimp number 1, you meet him, you figure out his situation, but in Pistol Shrimp number 2, you're starting to see the consequences of some of the actions. He's made some enemies. So in the second issue, you got Dennis here, who's part of this. He's a low member of this gang who Pistol Shrimp is essentially pissed off. And he's decided he's going to go kill Pistol Shrimp to make a name for himself, which is kind of the plot of the second issue. It gets kind of crazy from there. They get swallowed by a whale at one point. It's goofy. It's fun. And then you got your third issue there. That one, that's actually an homage cover to Once Upon a Time in the West. So that was our artist Luis Morocco's idea, and I was like, oh yeah, do that. That's awesome. But yeah, and then this is you meet the big bad guy in our third issue, and this is probably one of my favorite pages in the whole series, just because I love it. But it's serialized story, but I tried to make it where every issue is a full beginning, middle, end. You're getting a full comic experience out of every one of them. There's no, because I've always said the thesis statement is I want you to get your money's worth out of every issue. So nothing's worse than, you read a comic and it might feel like one scene and then a cliffhanger. And it's like, oh, I just spent, especially in the indie world where we have to charge a little bit more for our books, So it's like, you don't want to spend $10 on a book and then it feel like you didn't get a lot out of it. So that's kind of what we've been trying to do. There you can see those are the first 3 already printed. We got our collective team there below. And I think I noticed on Feminova, I think we got the same colorist. So it looked like Antonio Ramos Wong, and you can speak for that. Like, he's incredible.
Well, yeah. So Antonio Ramos did the Wraith Crown coloring.
Oh, okay. I saw him listed there. I almost said something, but yeah, he's awesome colorist, and with Luis Morocco, he just does great. And then these are our rewards. So our goal was we only did 1,500. So I kind of had the blessing this time. In the past, I did a lot more, but I had the blessing this time of I've got a decent job. I was able to fund pretty much the whole book, and we're just asking for the money to print it now. That way, I didn't want to make people wait a couple months for us to finish the book and all that stuff. So it took longer for this Kickstarter to get going, but it was because I wanted to make sure the book was ready to go. And now all we have to do is print it once we get the money and send it out. So I'm hoping our backers will appreciate that a little bit, that we cut down the time a little bit. and not as much money. And I like the idea that we're not taking away money from any other campaigns that need it more. So we're not going to ask for more than we need. So hopefully people can throw us a buck or two, and then they can still go back the other campaigns too. And we try to keep our rewards kind of low. It's because, like I said, I'm not trying to get greedy here. I think we can make the book with just that amount of money, and we'll be all right.
Charlie, take as much as you can get.
I know I should.
Yeah.
I'm not going to turn anyone away, but
trust me, Transformers doesn't need it.
I'm thinking about my other indie creators out there though, running Kickstarters at the same time.
I know, but it's still
yeah. But I know what you're saying. But I was in a fortunate position this time where I was like, okay, I was able to fund at least the creation of the book. I still need help with the getting it printed part, but
that's cool.
So I'm very excited about it.
Can I ask you a question? King Brillup Comics. Where'd you come up with that? I like that. I like that.
So it's actually an homage to my best friend. He passed away several years ago, and King Brillup was his character. We had a tabletop Pathfinder campaign, and he had a frog prince character that was a warrior. So after he passed away, we never finished the campaign, but the plan was I was running it. He was going to become this king at the end. So I was like, you know what? I need a name for a company to put on my comics since I'm going it alone. And I was like, King Brillup felt right. So
that's cool. That's cool.
A little bit of an homage.
It might be a little bit before your time. I don't know. But did you ever encounter Fish Police?
I didn't know.
Oh, okay. If you ever go, I don't know if you're into dollar bin diving or 50-cent book bin diving.
Yeah.
If you ever see a book called Fish Police.
Oh, I will. I'll look into it.
That's the book to check out. Yeah.
I think there's a very untapped world of under the sea comic books. Like you can do a lot with it. So I'm excited about it.
Yeah. No, it looks like a lot of fun, man. Very great book.
I hope people think it is, because I'm having fun making it, and I'd be happy to do it forever. But right now we're planning on going. The first story arc is going to be 6 issues long, so that's when I think I might collect them into a trade paperback. And as of now, I could see it going for maybe 18 issues. But if I come up with more stuff, I might keep it going if I'm having fun. No reason to stop.
Cool. Well, you've already funded. You got another 13 days, so you're well on your way. Good job, man. And everybody, pick up a Fish comic. It looks awesome. Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, cool. Next up is... Hold on. I'm sorry. I'm messing up again. I'm sorry. I'm my bad.
This is why I can't do this show anymore.
He's not even a football fan. He just wants out.
Yeah, I know. Right? All right, Mark. Do you want me to play this video?
No, we can just go right into talking about it.
Cool. So tell us about it.
Yeah, Universal's initiative. It's book 1 in a 3-book series, 64-page superhero epic about twin conquerors, just on a path to Earth decimating everyone in their way to get this life stone, this mystic gem that has created an incredible world of heroes and technology on Earth. And Earth's heroes, the Universals, get a warning about this incoming invasion, and they realize they're outnumbered. They have to start recruiting new Universals. This book has been a labor of love of mine for over a decade. I originally started on it as work for hire. I was working on my Graveyard Shift project with my artist and collaborator John Malin, and we were both hired by this company to create a new superhero universe for them. And we produced 50 pages of work. We were paid, fortunately, but the company folded, and I always regretted that this work wasn't released because I loved it so much. I had always kept in contact with the owners, and eventually I reached out to them to see if I could acquire it so I could give it a proper release, and they were all for it. Unfortunately, when I acquired the files, I realized, I didn't think the coloring was up to snuff. The lettering wasn't up to snuff, but all the files they gave me were flattened, and I didn't have that original black and white art art. I reached out to John to see if he still had it. He didn't have it, but he suggested, because I, like most artists, are a little hard on their earlier work. He suggested I have it refinished. So I brought in a couple artists to do new finishes over that artwork, had it recolored by Anthony George, who is my favorite colorist out there, relettered, and I wanted to add more to it to make it even more epic. So I rewrote the entire script with my son. My son and I, we wrote Pizza Tree back in 2017, nominated for a Ringo Award. He's my favorite person to collaborate, so I'm always looking for an excuse to work with him. We rewrote the entire script. We added a whole new chapter. We brought in artist Dan Dahl to draw the opening chapter, and I'm so proud of this book. It's superhero comics for superhero fans, just big, epic action. And the book's all done, penciled, ink lettered, colored. And I think the artwork's just gorgeous. We have some killer covers. John Malin did one of the covers. My Savage Hawkman collaborator, Joe Bennett, did a cover. Deborah Carita, who I'm a huge fan of, and Rob Liefeld did the cover to our oversized edition. I really wanted to show off these Anthony George colors, plus all the great artwork. So we're doing an oversized edition. It's a little more expensive than the other versions of the book, but if you buy the 4-pack, you save $15 because the oversized edition is $40. But yeah, I'm really happy with how this turned out. There's that Joe Bennett cover there. It's my favorite one. I'm fortunate I own the original artwork, but it just screams Jack Kirby, I think, with that big hand coming at you and that front leg.
Yeah, the foreshortening is incredible.
Yeah, and to have a cover by Rob, who was a huge mentor, gave me my biggest breaks in comics. That's a big get too. One of the things Rob said to me when I worked with him was, we make comics for people who still have that sense of wonder. And I think that's what the Universal's initiative is for, those people, those that still want those, to put their, sense of, belief to the side and just enjoy, big fun comics.
Very nice. How many pages is the book?
64 pages.
54 pages. Okay.
Nice.
Is it a one-shot, ongoing, limited series?
So this is book 1 in a 3-book series. This is called Universal's Initiatives. The second book is Universal's First Strike, and the conclusion will be Universal's War. So, yeah, trying something different. I've never done like a limited series, but I just felt like this is an epic event, and I wanted to try something different with it.
Yeah, man, the artwork's really, really nice on this. I mean, listen, man, the only advice I could give you is that Rob Liefeld art, you should push a little bit further up on the page.
Yeah.
I was shocked when you said that. I was like, oh, dang, he's burying the lead.
Seriously.
Believe me, I sent out countless newsletters with hyping the Rob Liefeld cover, but yeah, I should probably put that up higher.
Yeah, I was gonna suggest that too, because I'm like, I know you, so I'm like, Rob, and I'm like, oh, I can't wait, and I'm like, yeah, no, that should be higher up there.
Awesome.
They're front and center. I mean, get Rob to sell it for you. I mean, I mean, if you can get on his show, he has a great
Mark,
platform.
you're in Jersey?
Yeah.
Oh, all right, cool, man.
No, we're out
and,
of
Jersey.
Nice. So the campaign ends September 23rd. I have the print file ready. I'm just sending it off to the printer September 23rd. My printer usually has the books back to me in 2 weeks. So we'll start fulfillment on this sometime early to mid-October. I'm looking, campaign's real lean and mean. It's just the 4 versions of the book. I've been waiting to get this out to people for over a decade, so I can't wait to see this in print.
Yeah, man, it's a good looking book, man. I really like it. All right. So
Thank you.
You set yourself with a really low font. So, I mean, you're well past your mark.
Yeah.
Mark, can I ask you a question real quick?
Sure.
You set a $100 goal. Do you feel like with it, I assume it probably hit that really quickly. Do you think that helped the campaign overall, it being funded in like a short time frame? Because I've seen those banners sometimes where they'll be like, oh, this thing was funded like quick.
I don't really think there's been any uptick because of it. The thing is, I was printing this book regardless, so
Yeah.
I didn't. I had already done all the work,
Yeah.
so I didn't see any need to set the goal any higher than that.
I was just curious because I've always felt like once a campaign's funded, it seems like then you'll start getting people to back it that waited until like, well, I want to make sure it gets funded first.
Yeah,
so I wondered
right.
if maybe that happened for you.
Oh, but it's a great looking book. I mean,
Thank you.
So everybody, go buy another book, man. This is really good looking book. I mean, it's really nice. Very nice. Good job, Mark. I mean, I don't even know.
Thanks.
Yeah, it looks awesome.
Great job. Everybody, go buy a damn book. Just hope everybody's loaded. Yeah. Oh, yes. Where's it? Just there it is. All right. All right. Michael,
Oh, look at that.
look at that. Conrad and Conrad. Talk to me.
That's right. Should I start?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So I just launched the pre-launch the other day, so I don't have the video compiled yet or anything. I haven't made it, but this is the pre-launch page. So I'm currently in production on the final arc, which is why it's called the final chapter. And it's going to be all compiled into a graphic novel. This premise is it's a story about a rabbit that gets captured by aliens, and they experiment on him and they make him really smart. And he comes back to Earth and he could build any machine, and he builds a machine that he could teleport anywhere around the world. But the thing about this is that he's still just a rabbit. He's nonverbal. He doesn't have any motivations other than he's this very weird alien technology that was dumped on our planet, and no one really knows how to manage it or how to control it. And it's sort of a dark sci-fi comedy. And it's this girl, Amanda Bowman, is sort of his friend, and they travel around, as I mentioned before. They go around the world on these kind of weird adventures. And the story behind this particular story arc is that the aliens had been here, ancient aliens, and they used Earth as like a vacation destination, but they left like a Chernobyl-like incident on the planet and just forgot about it. And the government now needs this rabbit to kind of disarm this ticking time bomb of this, reactor that needs to be refueled. And this is going to be the final chapter of that particular story arc. And then for this Kickstarter campaign, I'm going to take all 4 books and combine them into one graphic novel. So that's kind of the long and short of what this next campaign is going to be about. Pretty excited about it. So I was hoping to do like 5 books. This turned out to be 4 books, but this book is going to be 56 pages. So it's quite a hefty production that I'm going through right now.
All right, very nice. When are you looking to launch?
That's a fantastic question. I'm finished with the pencils now. I have to ink 56 pages and color 56 pages.
Gotcha.
So, but I'm going to be posting updates on social media. Day 53. Like coloring. We'll see how it goes.
All right.
I also have to compile the graphic novel too. I mean, all 3 other books are done, but you got to then put them all together and work out whether that flow is still working, and make sure the pages are working right. I'm going to add a couple more pages and stuff like that and fix anything. It's funny, now that I'm on my 4th book, I feel like I'm getting better at it. I go back and look at page 5, and I'm like, God, that's terrible. I need to fix that.
All right. But listen, you're doing a trade paperback, so
Yeah.
all I can say is sold. Don't worry about it. I'll be there.
Oh, thanks. And as I mentioned before, I'm working on another idea. So I'm going to pivot from this. And once I'm done with this story arc, I'm going to work on another idea. It's called Gert the Valkyrie. And this time I'm going to do a compact graphic novel. And it's going to be just completely black and white. And I'm just going to work from the sketches and then color them with shading for the black, for tonal values, and then use that as the final production. But I'm working with it now, and it's like it's looking really good. So I'm super excited to kind of put this out there too and see what people think of it. It's a really great premise. It's about this Valkyrie that kind of shows up and battles frost giants, but then has to go to high school and figure out how to order lunch and stuff.
Gotcha. All right, cool. Very nice. Looking forward to it.
Thanks.
Yeah, don't worry about it. I'll reach out every now and again and be like, Michael, where is it?
I need it. Do please.
I think we all do. We're all like, where is it? What's taking you so long, buddy?
Oh, it was summer. I have kids at home. It's like, oh my god, every 10 minutes, like, different question. Why is the toaster on fire? How do I, how do I work the TV? Like,
Right. Well, the kids.
Yeah.
Talk about crazy. It's Tom. Tom, what are we looking at?
This is our 15-year anniversary for the Legend of Oz: The Wicked West. So we're doing Oz all year long. This is our third campaign for the season. Issue 2 of Volume 7. It'll be 40 pages. It is Ginger's Quest Part 2. This spins off from our last volume where Ginger was sent off to fulfill her little bit of revenge on the Kaleidos of Oz with hunters, gnome hunters that were sent with her. And right as that issue ended and this issue starts, the Ozma is discovered, and it sort of sends the story in a whole different direction. So this is new series artists Donnie Hadiwijaya and Sean Lee doing the art, and it looks freaking fantastic. Love having them on board. They're doing a great job. We're going deep into the lore too, like the wolves, the crocodile, the green serpent. We're really digging into Baum's worlds and bringing it all into our steampunk style world. So we already unlocked the first stretch goal. We're $62 away from the next stretch goal. It's a real easy campaign like we normally do, just 7 covers. You've got your story cover by Donnie and Sean. You've got Francesco Tomaselli, who's doing his first cover for us. That is Ginger. You have Enkaru, who's a new artist that I found, and I love his sort of cartoon style. So he did a Scarecrow cover previously. Now we've got the Lion. This is Narcisio Sousa and Edgar Tavidas on our Witch of the West. Francesco Zeruda, new artist that I found, who's got a very, very dynamic style. He's already got like 4 covers in the can for us for next year too. So that's our first Flying Monkey cover in a long time. Nia Rufino, of course, who's been doing covers for us on this book since the beginning. She's the only creative person to have worked on every single issue of this book, and she absolutely knocked this out of the park. And Larry Tuison and Glinda. That's your basic campaign. Super easy. All the books are limited to 100 copies. The prices that you see are what you pay. There's no extra shipping. So it's $25. That's it. Nothing else added on there. Unless, of course, you're overseas, but nothing we can do about that. Sorry. The sepias were our first 24 hours. Those are all gone. But we do have a few foils and medals and fancy books available if you like the really limited edition stuff. There's an artist set for Nia Rufino, which has the line art as well. Ginger foil. And this is Nia's cover. It will be printed on metal, and then Shannon Glarneau basically bedazzles these covers. She takes jewels and glues them strategically on the cover. So that's what that book is going to be. And all of these specialties are all printed to order. So if we get orders for 12, we're making 12 plus a couple of comps for the artists. And then if you need to get into the stuff you haven't seen before, we've got mystery boxes for all Big Dog Ink books. We have the TikTok miniseries spinoff. We have the Omnibus, which is this big honkin' 500-page monstrosity, which is the first.
Go show it. Go show it.
Yeah.
There you go.
This
Right.
guy.
Yeah.
It's good for if nothing else is good for killing spiders.
There you go.
So that's the first 4 volumes all put together in one gigantic book. It's a perfect starting spot. And then we have, of course, volume 5, volume 6, and you can get the entire series. Those are the Aspen editions, so those are the covers that Jesse Witchman did, but it also has a backup story that only exists in that Aspen series. So If you haven't read that, that's how you get that story. If you want it all in one shot, there's all the covers in one big shot. And then that's the BD 16 Ozthology. So it's 3 stories, 10 pages each. Silver Princess of Oz, The Glass Cat, and Overman Anew. That's a box set where you get all of the covers plus the special box that has exclusive art on the box. And then we've got some back issues. I went into the warehouse, found some back issues that we had. These are all add-ons. So Elias Chitzautis, Brian Peterson, Paolo Pentalena, Carl Liversidge, Bun Leung, Monty Moore, Jesse Witchman, Jen Brumall. We got a few Jen Brumals. So if you're missing any of the early stuff, we've got some Jen Brumals for you. But not many of these. That's why they're only add-ons, because I only have like 5 or 6 of these things. Owen Gianni. Mark knows Owen.
Yeah, we worked on Evangeline together.
Yeah. And then there's Justin Hunt. So very, very easy campaign. Lots to get into. There are digital copies especially if you're overseas. I understand the shipping is crazy, guys. There are digital copies available if you like that too. But yeah, lots of books, lots of Oz. And then our next campaign will be end of November. That'll be the 3rd part of Ginger's Quest.
All right, very nice, very nice. So you got 14 days left. You're already past your goals, so you're doing well. So all right, cool, very nice. Tom, as always, great campaign.
It's awesome.
Yep, good looking book. All righty, okay. Hold on, got this guy coming up.
The segues are rolling tonight. On
No
the money.
segues,
The
man.
segues,
no segues. Here we go. Talk to me.
All right, Shield of the Interceptor. If you know about the Sword of Excalibur, what if there was a shield that went with it? And everyone that ever looked for it is now coming after the one who accidentally found it. That's the hook. But it doesn't have to stay there, right? I get to play with the toys that are in the whole Arthurian sandbox, but I'm not bound by it because I'm using a shield. My love of superheroes, mythology is all mixed into this. Cover is by Narcelio Souza, and the variant cover is by Raphael Sam. And like I mentioned earlier, there is going to be a holofoil trading card as a returning backer reward. If you're not a returning backer, you could add it on to any pledge for an extra 5 bones. And they come shipped in this nice, handy dandy protective acrylic top loader, so it's not going to get damaged on it. Going to be launched mid-September, and it's going to be full color, 24 pages, superhero action adventure.
All right, cool, very nice. So this is number 7. How many more issues are you going in the series?
So issue number 8 is going to finish the arc, and he's going to go to bed for a little while I explore some of the other concepts that I want to pull out. And then once those are done, we'll bring it back up.
All right, cool. When do you plan to launch?
Mid-September.
Mid-September. All right, cool. Very nice, very nice. Looking forward to it.
Thank you.
Like I said, I like that chibi cover.
I like it too, man. I like it too. So he's done a few chibi pieces for me, and his sequential stuff is not bad either. So maybe,
All right, cool. This is my campaign, which has another 16 hours left. I've already funded, so this is going to go through. This is the Oswald Chronicles, featuring a character that he's telling a story about called Anna. She's a knight, and her village is being attacked by all these strange creatures, and she's going to New York City to raise an army to come back and help her fight off these invading hordes that are attacking her town. So that's the basic story. This is some of the interior art by Jade Gonzalez. And like I said, this is issues 1 through 4 available. And that's pretty much it. And there's another 16 hours left. So if you're interested, go get it now. Thank you. All right. Tom, got a question? It's your last day, man. You should have at least
one.
one.
You got to have something, kid.
Bro,
yeah, so This will be interesting because we have basically all writers on here. Robert Kirkman last week made a interesting comment that he said modern comics. I'm kind of paraphrasing. Modern comics have become since modern comics have become more writer driven. He says that means they're more intellectual, quote unquote, which he equates to basically being boring. And I find the comment interesting because there's a lot of people that find what he does to be monumentally boring. I agree to some aspect of that. But so the question basically is like, well, first of all, what do you think about that? As writers, are we trying to be too intellectual with what we're doing, or are we here to just make things smash into each other? And is that the market, that we need to be aiming for? Because there's a lot of stuff on the market right now, which is just let's punch some things and quip a little bit, and they seem to be doing relatively well in some cases. So, what's the thought process on being too intellectual versus, being fun, as he would determine it?
I think that's to me, it's a false dichotomy. You look at comics, and it's always been like at their best, they're always a mix of both. No, I mean, you look at I look at some of my favorite stuff. Dark Phoenix Saga is a great mix of both. You have these great action sequences, and it's this great meditation on power and on how things get corrupted and everything. I don't see it as one or the other. I think what bothers some people is when they think it has to be one or the other, or when something is too self-aggrandizing, where it's like, all right, listen, you're not as like. There was one video I was watching that I think described perfectly. It's like, like there's almost like midwits who think that like they're more intelligent. Maybe that's what they're referring to. I don't know the context, but people who like think they're super deep, and it's like, all right, I've heard this before, and heard it in less pretentious ways. But again, I don't know what comics in specific people are talking to.
I definitely think right for the medium. Like if I really wanted to get real wordy with it, I could write a novel, right? Like I still believe I want good writing in my comics, obviously, but if there's something that you could convey through the images, and it might be more effective than what you're trying to put in 10,000 words, I think that's the strength of comics. It's a visual medium. So I don't think I would say, oh, I just need, bam, pow, punch, fight scenes. I don't want that to be my whole comic book. I still want good writing, obviously, but take advantage of the medium, I guess, is what I'm summing it up as. Like, don't forget you're writing comic books after all. That's the way I see it.
Mark, what are your thoughts?
I would almost feel like his comments are more directed towards like the big three. I don't know if Robert Kirkman knows what's going on in the indie scene.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. He's definitely leaning into like Marvel, DC, Image, those types of zones.
Yeah, because I feel like some of the most exciting books are in the crowdfunded community. There can be a mix of both. Some people like more highbrow. Some people like, fun good guys punching bad guys in the face. There doesn't have to be one or the other. There can be a mix of it. I mean, I'm a writer who wanted to be an artist, so I try to write things that I think I want to see drawn by my artist. So I don't know. I feel like Kirkman has a point aimed towards maybe like Marvel, DC, and Image. But outside of that, I think it's the Wild West and all sorts of cool stuff's going on.
Okay. All right. Cool. Michael, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I guess the question is, who's the audience? Because my kids were, when they were younger, they looked at the Supergirl comic, and I thought that comic was amazing, and I gave it to them, and they're like, I don't understand this at all. But they loved, the compact novels, Smile and Dogman and all that stuff. So is it really the sense that comics should be like geared towards the younger generation that doesn't have the higher reading level, or is it still that he's talking about reaching an audience of older people that, would understand it? I don't know. Is it just a matter of finding the right audience with that? But I also just want to point out that I'm not a writer and I'm an artist first, and I'm definitely not doing anything intellectual with my stuff. So maybe I'm the wrong person to ask.
All right, that's fair enough. Jay, what are your thoughts?
I'm always trying to hide the peas in the mashed potatoes. There's messages in what I'm sending.
Boring. Boring.
Well, and that's why I'm here on the panel with you guys. You know what I mean? That's why I'm not selling 50,000 units a month. I've got a message. No, I mean, if I can fit something in, I'll fit something in. It's not going to be overt, right? But I definitely have messages and some ideologies snuck into the larger narrative, and being a descendant of being of Puerto Rican descent, I try to fit some of that stuff in. Like the Shield of the Interceptor, the current arc has him in Puerto Rico, right? Should an Afro Brit with an Arthurian shield be on the island? But can I make it interesting and find a way to get him there? Hell fucking yeah, I can. And it's a kick-ass, action-packed motherfucking story to boot. So there will be knuckle dusting, right? Because you got to keep asses in seats. I mean, you do. But it's funny that Kirkman is saying that after coming out with Terminal, and Terminal garbage. Sorry, I don't care if Arthur Adams and one of the Kuberts is on the book. It was flat for me in the first issue. I'm not coming back to that. I was a fan of Invincible. I won't say I never was. I'm a fan of Walking Dead, but what was it? Outcast. Was that his other book?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Didn't do it for me. What was his karate book?
Oh yeah, Burning something. Fire something.
Didn't do it for me. I'm buying Battle Beast because it looks good, not because it's it reads well.
I think it's fun, but I think Battle Beast is kind of knows what it is. That's kind of why I like it.
Okay.
His stuff never really clicked for me, to be honest. But I don't. I respect it, but I couldn't get into.
I like it. You're right. I like it, but I'm gonna try it. Like I said, I tried Terminal, but it didn't do it for me. So all right, take care. I'll spend my money someplace else. But everybody's got an opinion, man. I got fucking opinions. Who cares? I mean, he's got a name, right? I mean, the guy's worth $500 million fucking dollars. So people are gonna listen to him. Okay. Did I like Renfield? No. I would spend my money on fucking making something else. But he made Renfield. I mean, he could fucking do that. He could throw his fucking weight around. He could buy Kenner Superpowers action figures in the package and leave them in the fucking drawer, right? Not do anything with them because he's got that kind of fucking money. He's got fuck you money. And that's what he did. He said, fuck you, everybody. I'm going to do what I want to do.
Yeah. It's funny with the question is just I find it weird that he would say something like that, knowing that he's like an old school comic reader.
Yeah.
Because I don't think he could say that about Frank Miller's work on Daredevil, John Byrne and Chris Claremont on what they did on X-Men, and George Perez and Mark Wolfman on Teen Titans.
He was clear that he was talking about comics now.
Yeah, I assumed he was like the people inspired by that, trying to sound like that kind of thing.
Right. Yeah, but it's funny. It's like, all right, there's that stuff, and then there's Alan Moore on Swamp Thing, and then there's him on Miracle Man, and Warren Ellis on Transmetropolitan, and Garth Ennis on Preacher, and those books, right? Where I think those guys may have elevated a little bit, and I think that is the stuff they're looking at and they're trying to emulate, I guess. I don't read anything from DC. The guys who originally the original Vertigo guys, like those are the people they're trying to emulate. I think those are the issue and I think that's the style they're looking for, but they probably just don't understand what they're looking
people
at.
Don't got it
right. They don't understand the structure, of what they're doing or whatever. I mean, who knows? I mean, I don't read any of their stuff, so I couldn't even tell you, one way or the other. But I don't know. I prefer, somewhere in the middle. You have to have action and adventure, right? Because that's the stuff I grew up on. But I also want some thought put into the book. I want some happy medium in there. And as writers, I think that's what we should be shooting for. Somewhere in the middle. We should be shooting. We don't have to be, doesn't have to be Shakespeare, but it shouldn't be like, just anything.
Mm-hmm. I concur.
Yeah, Tom, what are your thoughts? Your question.
So, I think he's right to some degree. I have tried a ridiculous amount of books only to be bored within pages of looking at stuff. But I wonder if part of that is the boring side of it. I'm wondering if maybe the art isn't conveying and doing its part of the job. You may have an interesting story, but if the art's just square to square to square to square and people doing this and people doing this, like the information may be there, but the visual aspect of it, like it's been said in here, comics are visual medium, so play to the medium. That maybe that's part of it. But then it's like, so Battle Beast has been brought up here a couple times. When Battle Beast first came out, it was absolutely a good book. It took a character that we understood, put him in a situation that we understood, but started to tweak the situation where he was messing around with the robot and the little squid guy. And it was like a completely different sort of Battle Beast that we were getting for a period of time, like that first 6 issues. But now, and especially with when Conquest is here, it's just dudes punching people in the face. And I'm now bored with them punching themselves in the face. And but again, part of that is because we also know neither of these guys are dying, because this is a prequel story. Right. So we know that there's nothing significant is happening here, which makes that aspect even worse. It can be fun. Ryan Ottley is doing a hell of a job artistically and visually, and that's what keeps me going, is like, God damn, this guy just doesn't miss with what he does. But the story almost disappeared from those first 6 issues. And so I've become now more bored with the book. So that's why when he said that the intellectual books were boring, I'm like, yeah, but dude, punching people in the face for 3 issues. I mean, there's a limit. You gotta bring me back to that part of the story that was really working for me, because you've almost thrown it away. So, again, it's an interesting comment. I don't necessarily disagree with it, but I was just curious if anybody had, maybe had some thought process as to that type of thing. And yeah, Terminal, that first issue of Terminal was like, what are we doing? Like, this is not top notch. Doesn't mean it doesn't have room to grow. Of course it does. It has amazing creators involved with it, but it was kind of flatline for me. I do have issue 2, but really only because of the Art Adams cover. I grabbed that, and we'll read it and see if it bumps, and hopefully it bumps. But yeah, I don't know. It was an interesting statement from a guy who's at the top of his game, and it kind of makes me wonder, like you were saying, Rosario, like he's got the name, he's got the recognition, he's got the brand. So are we just selling hype at this point? Are we just selling a name and a hype, and it just sells because, and we can't look at it and go, well, it's sold, but it's not really very good. I don't know what the answer is, but I feel like there's a lot of hype and just sort of like almost 90s-esque, like truly now 90s-esque aspects of the hype, right? We weren't doing like really variant covers back in the day like we're doing now. That was not a thing. It was all collector based, but they were all basically buying one issue, one cover. There just happened to be like a million of them in print of that one issue, and that's what was selling. Now, Absolute Batman sells 500,000 units, but there's 150 variant covers. Like that's a different market sense than what we were doing in the 90s. But we are hard collecting right now too. We're hard speculating and collecting. So I wonder if we're speculating on the wrong things again. Who knows?
All right, can I? Okay, go ahead, Calderon.
Oh no, I was gonna comment like we'll see in a year when they're only 50-cent boxes.
Right. Okay, so can I ask the question, a follow up or a counter to what Tom brought up? I just finished what I thought was a great series. Not intellectual, but it hit a lot of marks. And it didn't have the art to back it up. It wasn't there, right? I just finished Wrestle Heist. I don't know if you guys read that 5-issue mini. If you're a wrestling fan, if you're a fan of Ocean's 11, this was the perfect merger of it, right? And it was a tough visual for me, right? But it kept bringing me back because it was hitting all of the layers of wrestling, right? It hit like you knew who the Undertaker was, you knew who Hogan was, you knew who Vince McMahon was, you knew that it was going on during Survivor Series, right? They made it look like the covers of the old pro wrestling magazine that was out there, and it hit so many of not intellectual elements, but that. All right, that's my zone. That's my zone. That's
a nostalgia trip. You just got hit with the nostalgia trip.
It was, and that what was carrying me, even though the art was just like, I can't promote this book. So, is there anything like that you guys have come across?
I mean, most of what I've been reading has been pretty indie, to be honest. And then a few things, I hate to say it, like with the mainstream stuff, I haven't been just grabbing. I used to kind of grab just number one issues, whatever, or just whatever issue interests me. I haven't been doing that lately. So I don't know if there's anything quite like that I could think of where I've pulled away from the artwork, being honest, that I could think of anytime soon. I've had stuff that I initially was skeptical on because of the artwork, and then ultimately I'm like, all right, I'll give it a try and end up liking it. But I can't think of anything else.
Let me refine it a little bit, right? Is there anything that you guys feel you should have dropped, but you didn't drop because there was something that kept hooking you?
I don't think so. Normally, if I don't like something, I'm like, out of here.
I might give myself away here for my age because the comics I was reading, I think I was a little after the 90s. So I got into, say, like Ultimate Spider-Man back in the day and loved it at the time. I've bought the volumes in the last couple of years more recently, and looking back, I'm like, that art is not as good as I remembered it being.
Oh, wow.
Like going back to it, at least on the early issues, because I only bought the first couple of volumes, but I was like, but still picking it up and reading through it. I mean, I was engaged enough in the story to keep going and kind of look over some of the artwork that I didn't click with. So I think I'm more likely to continue a story if I like the writing and not so much the art, like you said. Whereas if the writing's bad and the art's great, I still might not keep going, because if the writing's bad, I just can't engage with it in any way.
Okay.
Yeah. Mark, what are your thoughts?
I'm the type of reader who probably wouldn't even, if the artwork didn't click for me, I wouldn't even pick up the issue. Which that wrestling book you mentioned, that sounds amazing to me because I'm a huge wrestling fan. Who published that?
It was Image, dude. I think it was a Kyle Starks book.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, no, I've always been a guy that, as a reader and fan, artwork comes first for me. So if it doesn't have that artwork, I won't pick it up. But there has been amazing books with amazing art that the writing just hasn't been there, and that's gotten dropped.
Oh, Wrestle Heist is Steven Universe style art.
Yeah, but it doesn't even get to Steven Universe style, dude. Not that I like either
but as
one.
soon as I look at it, that's immediately what I
Real
see.
cartoony.
Oh,
Dude.
with the Cal Arts.
Hyper cartoon.
Dude, but it's
Yeah.
like you got the mashup of Paul Heyman and Vince McMahon. You're like, oh my god, it's easily identifiable
Yeah.
in the writing. You know who Haku is. If
I gotta
you know
look
the
this up
layers
now.
of
Oh,
I was
storytelling,
gonna say
you know who
that
Jai
artwork
is?
would be a hard sell for me, probably.
yeah,
You know,
I'm looking at
they
it.
mashed up Abdullah the Butcher with the Undertaker, and it's like okay. And then the back matter, instead of letters pages, he'd have different artists like do
Does
their top 5 list.
Does the writing at least like fit the tone of the artwork,
Yeah.
or does it feel like a complete clash? Because that's what I'd be worried about.
Yeah, it did. Okay. I mean, it wasn't oversimplified,
Yeah.
right? Because of the layers that he put into it, which was what kept me in there. But normally, this should have been a book that I dropped.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was saying. I was like, sometimes the writing's good enough to like get you to overlook that kind of stuff. But that made me think of another problem I've had with books before, where it does feel like the artwork clashes with the story, where it's like cartoony art, but they're trying to write like Watchmen, and it's like, yeah, this doesn't really work together. And I mean, I've seen books that do that kind of juxtaposition, and it can work. But like, I have seen books where you got to find the right artist to go with your story. Like, don't just pick up anybody because they might not be the right fit for that particular story. So,
Where we at? Michael, right?
Mike, yep.
So, I mean, just to clarify, is the question that he was saying that the concept story was dumb, or that just the writing in general was not brilliant or something? Like, could you clarify what the question is?
The writing was good, right? But the art, like Charlie's saying, didn't match it. So is there anything where the writing kept you going, where it would have been a book that you should have dropped?
So not for comics, I don't know of anything recently. I read a ton of comics in the 90s with Claremont and the Frank Miller Daredevils and stuff. Just from my kids, though, that they do have books that they really love, and they're drawn by the author who doesn't know how to draw. But the story was so amazing that they're just completely engaged with it. I always kind of felt that if the story is really strong, but that's just a different thing because it's kids, it's children's books. It's not really comic books. There isn't anything I haven't really would say that I would say I also need the art to be kind of solid to like be able to keep going through and reading it. I mean, the story would have to be amazingly good, or it would be more of a prose for me to kind of stick with it, in my opinion. But
All right, cool. Tom, what are your thoughts?
No book comes home with me if the art's bad. It doesn't matter what the context is. I mean, I'm a big Godzilla fan, and I have to open up a book, and I'm like, this is garbage. I can't take it home. So, books get dropped for me when I'm like, okay, art's good, concept maybe, give it a few issues. Nope, I'm out. So I'll drop it for the story, but it won't even come home if it doesn't look like something I want to look at.
I think it's even harder in indie comics too, when some of these books have such long gaps between them. It's like, you expect me to wait, 2 years for your next issue, and I wasn't that in love with the concept.
isn't the old expression you bring them in with the art and keep them with the story, right?
It's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. I need to read that. I've had that for a bit.
You're talking about Elsewhere, Jay?
I'm sorry, I meant to say Elsewhere.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I enjoyed it. And because the thing is I went into it with no real expectations, right?
Okay.
So I went into it, and for me, it's just a fun comic. That's the way I feel about it. You understand? I just read it. I don't have any expectations of it. I don't expect it to be Sandman, right?
Right. I'm not expecting it to be Sandman. Yeah.
Like I said, I enjoyed the hell out of it. I thought it was a lot of fun because it reminds me of those old Chris Claremont comics. It takes me back to a simpler form of comic book.
I think that's the key, dude. You said Chris Claremont, and he's not part of this.
No, it's not.
Right.
Well, to be honest with you, when it came down to those Chris Claremont X-Men comics, John Byrne was key to those issues, because when John leaves, you could tell there's something gone from the book, you know, especially as he gets later on in that series. You know, I think it's good up to about 177. It's the issue where Wolverine is about to beat the hell out of Colossus. And because he broke Kitty's heart.
Oh, 180. It's like 180. The bar fight you're talking.
Yeah, the bar fight, and then the
it's like right after Secret Wars. I think it's
That's the one. That's at that point, it jumped the shark for me after that. So that for me was like the last issue where I felt was really good. I still kept collecting it for a while, but you know, it was what it was.
See, I get it, because I get Claremont gets very experimental, like after Trial of Magneto and everything. I like a lot of that, but I do get that it's like different.
Yeah. All right. Well, all right. I got two examples for you.
Okay.
So one of them is Sandman. Sandman, I feel, is excellently written throughout the entire thing, but there are some real rough patches when it comes down to the art. I mean, there's some real rough patches. There's some incredible art. There's the stuff by Charles Vess, P. Craig Russell, and some others. But there's some real rough patches in it. I don't know why that is. That book at one point was outselling Superman. So I don't know why that is. But, you know, it is what it is. Another one is one that I recently read. It was a book out of Dynamite. It was based on one of their Hanna-Barbera family of books. And the artwork was drawn by someone whose work I regularly collect in another series that they do, but it looks like they just didn't like they were probably getting paid such a low page rate. They were like, well, this is the amount of work you're gonna get for me for what you're paying me.
Gotcha.
Right? That's what the artwork felt to me like. Like it just felt like they're not, because I've seen them do other stuff that was way better, and I'm just like, yeah, I just think that like he has a time limit. He's like, okay, well, you're gonna pay me X amount, and I'm only gonna give you X amount of hours on that page, and yeah, and then the writing in it was just horrible. I mean, it was like a fun, really, it's like one of the Hanna-Barbera cartoons, you know, and it's like that stuff for me is like, it's like an open playground. Like that's just like, that stuff is just open. You can just go out there and do almost anything and have a great time with it. But this particular book was color me unimpressed. I mean, it was just terrible. It was just terrible. It was just a really, really bad book. And I was really looking forward to it because it was one of my favorites growing up as a kid. It was one of the cartoons that I used to watch. And I was just, when I read this one, I was like, shit, you know, not good, not something I'll ever buy ever again. So immediate drop.
Does it bother you guys ever if like a series is constantly changing artists? Will that keep you off of reading anything, or does that not bother you too much?
Depends on if the replacements are good or not.
Yeah,
right.
It's almost too distracting for me in some cases. Like I'm used to reading a lot of Vertigo and stuff, books where it's like one long series that doesn't really change too often, and it's almost funny, distracting when it's too different.
When Jim Lee had a hard control over the artwork at DC, he did I was collecting was it Justice League Dark, and almost every issue had a different artist, or every 4 or 5 issues had a different artist, but he had them so homogenized it was difficult to tell the difference, that it was a different artist, which I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but it was just like you could just flow through it. And if you don't look, you can see some variations, but it wasn't a lot. And a lot of it was very homogenized.
That's like the early days of Wildstorm. He had it that way too. Yeah.
Well, I was wondering, like Tom earlier, you said you would drop a book like if you didn't like. I was wondering if it constantly was changing an artist, would you give it more of a chance, or would you like still drop it on one bad issue?
As long as the art that's coming in is at least somewhat comparable, then I'm okay. Even if it's a different style completely, if it's like, oh, that's different, but I like what I'm seeing,
But if they had
Fine.
just like
But if
one
all of a
random
sudden-
issue that was just completely a mess.
Well, if I know it's just one issue,
Yeah.
then I can, okay, one issue, and then
Right.
the regular guy's back.
Gotcha.
But
Yeah.
if all of a sudden it's like, well, here's the example. So I was reading Batman and Robin with Simone DeMau doing the art, who I like. That's basically why I bought the book, is because his stuff is ridiculously cool. And then he did like 5 or 6 issues, and then they had this guy come in who was a polar opposite of what Simone does. And I was like, oh God, I'm not here for this, man. And the story is okay. I was actually surprised. The story was okay, but it wasn't enough for me to be like, keep clicking. And then Simone came back and I was like, oh, now I know I'm here. And then he went away again. And I was like, son of a bitch. And then after 12 issues, he was just off the book. And I was like, nope, I'm officially done at that point. So, yeah,
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, it's and even like G.I. Joe was happening, the new G.I. Joe book that Larry Hama's writing, and they had Chris Mooneyham on it, and I was like, God, this is incredible. And then all of a sudden it started switching out, like they were doing 6 issues and then 6 issues for somebody else, and they had a guy who was good. I want to say it was like Steve Epting or something was doing like the fill-ins, and
Wasn't it Paul Pelletier, I think?
There you go, Paul Pelletier. Yeah. And I like Paul. I like what he does, but it's such a departure from what I loved about Mooneyham that it just over time, that switching, I just artistically and visually, I was like, I'm not vibing on it anymore. I want Chris, and I don't mind if he has to take some time off. Like what he does is credible. Like take a couple issues, 2 or 3 off, and then come back for like 6 again, and I'd be okay. But suddenly it was like 6 and 6 and 6 and 6. And I'm like, no, I can't. It's not jamming with me anymore.
That's cool. Oh, Jay, it's your question.
Yeah, no, I'm I don't know, man. I don't know what keeps me in. I don't know. I can't it's book to book basis, right? I can't say it's the art. I can't say it's the story. That's why Wrestle Heist was just fucking weird, man. Because it kept saying, okay. I understand that. I understand where he was going with that, but it was just.
Well, that initial premise like spoke to you in particular. It sounds like too, right?
Yeah, I mean, like he hit so many. It was like Duo Powerbomb, right? Duo Powerbomb hit so many elements of wrestling. You know, they hit the death match stuff. They hit the lucha stuff. They hit the hardcore matches. They hit the Japanese stuff, right? And then they went wild and they went into space, right? So it brought in Galaxy Quest, right, where they believed that it was real outside of here.
You're speaking to me now.
It shouldn't have worked at all, but it did. And it kept me locked in, but the art was totally different. The art fit the grittiness of Duo Powerbomb. The art doesn't fit Wrestle Heist, but it kept me coming back. So it's a case-by-case basis, man.
Duo Powerbomb's a brilliant book.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Made me cry.
Jay's a softie.
Dude, no comic book has ever made me cry. Duo Powerbomb made me feel like I was watching Field of Dreams all over again at the end.
Nice.
It hit me.
All right, cool. All right, I'm gonna hit everybody with a quick softball, right? Quick softball before we wrap it up. What's a Grail comic you would like to own? Doesn't matter what it is. It could be anything. Grail, whatever craziness you could think of. Mark, let's start with you.
I'm a huge G.I. Joe fan. When the Marvel series ended, I never got that McFarland issue that I guess came out afterwards. I got the Skybound reprint, but I would love to have the original one. That's like the only hole in my G.I. Joe collection, going on to the Image Larry Hama stuff now that they're doing.
Oh, interesting.
A lot of G.I. Joe up here.
Nice. All right, Michael, what are you looking for?
I don't know. I may make Jay cry again, because when I was in New York City, I had a very small apartment and I had 2 baby kids, like twins, and I had to get rid of my collection. And I took them to Midtown Comics and sold like 2 long boxes for $100, I think. But they're all from like, I think I had all the X-Men from the Chris Claremonts, all those, and I was like, but I did the math, and me keeping those like in storage probably would have cost more than what I could have sold them for. And I read them too, right? They weren't all like none of them were 9. I'll tell you that. They were well loved, but I would like to have some of those back. When I think about it, I love those books, man. I would have to say the Frank Miller Daredevil ones were just incredible. I read them like 6 times over.
Oh yeah, those are like 2 of my favorite runs ever.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, for like monetary value, or for just nostalgia, or just because it's an awesome book,
Take your pick.
Hulk 181, I guess. I had one of those, I think.
Nice.
Oh well.
Yeah, I lost mine in a flood.
Yeah, I remember you on your past episode. I also cried when I heard about that. I'm sorry. That sounds terrible.
Yeah, it was tough. It was tough. Vaughn, what's a Grail comic you'd like to get a hold of?
Oh man, where do I mean, a lot of my answers are basic. But if we're talking Holy Grail, I'm not going to talk to one. Oh, this one's hipster because that's not a Grail. That's I can find it. I guess I'll have to go giant size. X-Men #1.
Okay.
That's pretty. Cool. It's I feel like that's the most basic answer, but sticking with it because why not?
Sounds good. Charlie, what are your thoughts?
I was never huge on superhero comics, but I wish I would have. Might be too young. I wish I would have been able to get some actual floppies of like Preacher. I loved that series, and I was able to read it all in collections, and I'm sure I could probably find them relatively cheap. It's not the hardest thing in the world, but I wouldn't mind having like the full series of that maybe. But,
that's cool. Tom.
I mean, the old Tom would who used to collect the mainstream stuff, because I've got a huge Wonder Woman collection. Would be just give me a Wonder Woman #1. That would be spectacular. But I start to think about that kind of stuff, and I'm like, why would I want like a $50,000 comic book sitting in my house? Like that's insane. I don't even want it here. Like it would have to sit in a bank vault somewhere, to be protected. So. But one of the books that I have been building, the series that I keep poking around and I'm getting close to finally grabbing one, is the Ghost Rider series. I want the 70s Ghost Rider book. Obviously, his first appearance, the Marvel Spotlight, that's the one. But I'm actually building the Ghost Rider series, so that's the one that I'll need. And there's a guy who's one of my comic book stores has one that's in pretty good shape. That's it's not even graded. Like I told him he should grade it. He's like, nah. I'm like, good. That's the right answer. Don't grade that. Let me just keep looking at it, and eventually I'll get it. But I have upstairs. I've got an Absolute Batman #1 that one of these days I'm just gonna be able to trade it for a Ghost Rider, and I'll be like, yeah, you take that Batman crappy book and give me that Ghost Rider, and I'll be happy.
Nice.
It's funny Tom brought that up. I'm at Midtown Comics today, the outlet, and I don't know, even the first appearance of Bane, Absolute Bane, is selling for $100. So I'm like, okay, I can climb out of the hole that I'm in from New York Comic Con. Real easy now, we got a couple of those things. But my Grail is not a comic book. It is a playset. And Mark hinted at it with G.I. Joe.
You want that Endor Ewok playset from Return of the Jedi?
No, because I got the Robin Hood version of it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, okay. No, it is the aircraft carrier, man.
Oh, yeah, of course.
That's it. I'm looking at my stuff right now. I got my Tomahawk there. I got the Rattler. I got my oil platform. I got my Vamps behind me with the new stuff. But the oil carrier, that is it, man. I mean, excuse me, the aircraft carrier. I want 2 of them because I want to customize a Cobra one, and then put it in a fucking pool and have a great big fucking water fight. Right?
You just get one of those and build a nice base on it and make it your coffee table, man. There you go. Like, come on,
dude. Did you see the guys from South Africa that They tricked it out. They put fucking office chair wheels underneath it. And they just go all over the floor. They did it with that and with the spaceship, the triple spaceship with the the launch pad and everything. Yeah. Yeah, man. That's that was it. A side note, the middle section, I always felt looked like the Avengers Quinjet. They only had 3 turbines on the back of them instead of 5. Yeah. But the aircraft carrier, that's my grail, man. That's my grail. You know, talk about something I got to fucking sleep on. I got to reinforce that son of a bitch because my wife is not going to let me go to bed for a while. We get that in here, pal.
Yeah. Okay. Let me not comment on that one.
I'm gonna put the mic in the. We'll figure it. Let's do that. I don't want to work blue tonight.
What's funny is the books I'm about to mention I owned and I sold when I was a kid, right? And I sold them to buy more comics. So the books that I bought off the rack and read was Daredevil 168, right? And I sold it. I think I bought it for a cover price, whatever it was, 50 cents. I think I sold it for like 25 bucks. And it was literally, and it was like maybe a year or 2 later I sold it. And it was just to buy more comics. Then the other one is a set that a friend gave me for my birthday. And he gave me Thor 167 and 168. It was the origin of Galactus, right? And I sold those fuckers as well to buy more comics, like years and years later when I had slight falling out. But yeah, those are probably the books. If I was to ever collect again, those are the ones I would probably get. You know, thankfully, I gave up collecting a long time ago, so none of it bothers me. So yeah, that's the stuff I would want. So gentlemen, thank you so much. This was awesome. We made it to hour 2, and let's start with Michael. Michael, where can we find you and your work?
You could find me at conradvancottonmouth.com, and all my social media is there on the website. I just recently changed the handles. If anyone's familiar with my social media accounts, it's now M. Connor Studio. But you could find me at conradvancottonmouth.com.
All right, cool. Vaughn?
Yeah, you can find me at Vaughn Coleman on all socials. There's also Rebel Oasis Studios. My website is rebeloasisstudios.com. I've got the first 4 issues there. And then the Kickstarter for Phenomenova issue 5 and the Wraith Crown issue 1. That's the best. That's all my stuff. I'm on every platform you could think of. And then the Kickstarter, obviously.
All right, cool. Charlie?
I'm on Twitter, just Charlie McFarland. Just look me up. If you find a bunch of posts about Pistol Shrimp, you found me. I'm also on Instagram. That one's a little more just me, whatever I'm up to, but I'll talk about comics on there sometimes. And then on Facebook, King Brillup Comics. Just look it up on Facebook, and I'm usually posting what's going on in my life. So.
Nice. Very nice. Mark?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Coney Waves. My website is hauntedpizzallc.com. I have the whole back catalog available for sale over there. And then my YouTube channel is Primetime Poulton. Go subscribe.
All right, cool. Tom?
BigDogInc.com. Get your books. Campaign's running in another couple of weeks for Legend of Oz. And I will be at Monroe Comic Con in 2 weeks, just south of Detroit. I'll be there with CB Zane and new Critter series artist Todd Vertice. He's coming up making his first appearance at Big Dog Inc. with us there. And then in November, we wrap up the year in Akron, and I'll be down in Akron, Ohio with CB as well.
Very nice. Jay?
UnstoppableComics.com is the website. You can find all my social media links there. On Friday night, catch me with this guy here and this guy here, Comic Book Streamland, 8 p.m. Eastern. And we got an announcement this Friday, which is it's big for us. It's big for us, right? So I'm excited to drop that. And you know, maybe important for a lot of indie comic guys too. We'll see how that goes. But so that's Friday's announcement. And then New York Comic Con, booth 1971. I got a huge 10 by 20 space, so you can't miss me. You'll fucking bump into me. We got a ton of shit over there. We got some show exclusives. I can't wait to see you there if you come by booth 1971.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I'll be there too with Henri Compin, so I'll see you there.
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, so you can find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Friday nights with Jay. Next Sunday with obviously Jay and not Tom.
Tom will be here.
He'll be here in spirit. We'll see what happens.
The Cowboys are playing Sunday, so I might be. It's possible.
All right, well, let me know. Let me know.
I can skip out on that.
All right.
I told you.
See, there you go. Well, you know the game better than I do. I don't pay attention to it. So, and currently on Kickstarter with the Oswald Chronicles, so go check that out. And please, everyone, go check out the show notes. In the show notes are the links to all of these creators' creations. So please click on those links and buy those books. These creators, all impassioned, they're all doing great work. Click on those links, buy these books. And just remember, everyone, read more indie comics, especially ours. Have a good night, everyone. Thank you.
Later.